Hi, this is Sell Your Business for Millions, and I'm your host, Eric Gilboard. And today we're going to talk about marketing. We're going to find out what marketing is, differences between sales and marketing. I'm going to tell you a story, and then we're going to talk about 11 very, very interesting ways to get your marketing started. All right, let's get going. In its broadest sense, marketing encompasses many elements. Marketing includes how you answer the telephone, correcting the spelling in your correspondence, and the use of words and graphics in the brochures and flyers you hand out, how you answer LinkedIn questions, and what you put out on your website or post on Twitter and Facebook or Instagram or Reddit or whatever you're using these days. Marketing takes on many forms, including, but not restricted to, here's the long list: research, decision making, customer service, supplier relations, sales calls, planning, rethinking, constant reevaluation, late night deliveries, early morning presentations, brochures, business cards, advertising, trade and consumer shows, marketing plans and programs, lead generation materials, sales presentation materials, social media, direct marketing programs, database development and management, telemarketing, print production, public relations and publicity, strategic alliances, sales training, marketing training, everything on the internet, newsletters, corporate identity, logo design, sales meetings, and much more. And you thought marketing was just running some ads. Not really. It's just a huge amount of other ways that you can impact your business positively and help you sell for millions. The essence of marketing, it's really simple. It's saying the right thing to the right person at the right time. However, knowing what to say, when to say it, and who to say it to, well, that's much tougher. Saying those things while building a relationship with a prospect over a long or short period of time, that's the key. Being consistent with your message. So what's the purpose of marketing? Well, the purpose of marketing is to focus your business and to promote it to others. As the owner or operator of a small or medium-sized business, you have two responsibilities. You need to develop a marketing program and to manage the execution of its elements. If you don't market your company, you may miss out on the success you were looking for. Marketing can be your greatest asset or the one thing you neglected to do while you were telling yourself that you were too busy running the business, i.e. working in the business. Marketing affects everything you do and can be addressed in any activity you perform for your business on a daily basis. Start by becoming aware of marketing and the many roles it can play in the process of building a business. Use this knowledge in every area of your business to carve out a road to success, and make absolutely certain you share this information with your staff. And that's all your staff, from sales to production to the receptionist. Anyone who comes in contact with a supplier or a customer, you want them to be aware that they are representing your company and they're basically helping you market. So what's the difference between sales and marketing? Well, in a small business, you often wear both the sales and the marketing hats. You may have somebody who's assigned to that job. They may even be a VP, sales and marketing. What is the difference between sales and marketing? And in my experience with a lot of small businesses and some lower end medium-sized businesses, that VP sales and marketing is typically a salesperson. They don't really know that much about marketing. So let's cover it off here. So what's the difference between sales and marketing? Well, marketing researches the opportunity. It prepares the strategy, produces the tools to inform the prospect, and places the potential sale up on a table. The salesperson, who works with marketing ideally to confirm the opportunity, contribute to the strategy, use the tools to inform the prospect, and move the opportunity off the table and where you want it into the cash register. It's important to maintain objectivity when marketing, including others in as many stages of the process as possible. They may see something you don't see or add ideas you haven't considered. That way, mistakes can be minimized and opportunities can be maximized. Every day, new and exciting elements and challenges are being tossed into the marketing mix. There is no reason to be overwhelmed by all of these choices. Seek professional advice from marketing suppliers or go to seminars and workshops. There are many qualified marketing resources to guide you through this exciting jungle. So, when does marketing start? Well, marketing starts long before you create a brochure or an ad or a website. The minute you have the first inkling of an idea, you must start researching the target groups, the competition, and the need for the product or service. Integrate this information within the product or service, packaging, price, distribution, communications tools, and every discussion you have about the product or service from that moment on. Marketing is not restricted to tangible items such as brochures and signs. That's very, very old school. It is something you do on a daily basis with every action you take, as we said earlier. If you are talking to customers or rearranging your furniture to make the customer's experience more enjoyable, you are affecting the success of the business and performing what is basically a marketing action. So let me tell you a story. And this is about a successful hairdressing salon owned by two brothers. For the past few years, they've talked about marketing. The brothers haven't developed any specific marketing tools yet, but they meet regularly and plan to do some quote-unquote real marketing soon. The fact that they have not yet created the standard marketing tools, such as brochures and ads, does not mean that they have not been developing and executing a marketing program. The brothers have been thinking about their business from a marketing perspective and have recognized that marketing is necessary to the success of their business. Their marketing is really actually well underway. A few years ago, they moved the location of their salon and took full advantage of the opportunity to create a new and exciting environment for their customers. The new salon was so interesting they were featured in an industry magazine. They also participate regularly in hairdressing shows as featured presenters to increase recognition of their company name. They have reached a level in their profession that many competitors would do anything for. They have accepted offers from manufacturers to represent certain lines of products and have their own line of products that in fact is sold worldwide. The brothers were very specific about the type of employees they hired, seeking people with a good attitude toward the business and customers. The brothers want to make sure that they are building the best possible team in order to take full advantage of the future, more traditional and new media marketing efforts. A continuing discussion revolves around the demographical and psychological profile of the customers they want to attract. The atmosphere they've created in their salon is of utmost importance to them. The brothers regularly review the history of the salon and its past sales. Where did they make money and where did they give it back? What aspects of the business provide the most satisfaction? Are there cycles to the business with up and down times? Can they create promotional opportunities to smooth out the business over the year? Are they taking advantage of the latest technologies? Setting appointments online through the internet, that's one that they've taken advantage of. Where do they want to take their salon in the future? What lessons can they learn from other salons, anywhere in the world, that are a few steps ahead of them? Can they identify and model themselves after a successful salon or chain of salons that is in a position in the marketplace that they want to be in? The brothers continually review competitors' literature to assess their position in the marketplace. Promotional offers, target group identification, and product endorsements. These small business entrepreneurs want to know all they can about their immediate competition in their neighborhood and, in fact, around the world. They participate in various hairdressing shows, make sure that they are featured on stage, demonstrating the latest in hairdressing techniques in order to consistently reinforce their position as a leading-edge hairdressing salon. Despite all of these activities, when they are asked whether they are conducting a marketing program, they answer that they are still preparing one. Sometimes naivete is an interesting aspect. These two hardworking, thinking entrepreneurs have recognized the importance of marketing and they're determined to take full advantage of it. In fact, they are already marketing their business every day and through interactions with customers, suppliers, and staff. They are marketing their business because they are aware that every day and every interaction is another opportunity to fine-tune their marketing efforts. When they decide to start a more traditional marketing program, they will be well prepared for it. Although these days, who is to say what is traditional and what is new? So, enough talk, let's get started already. You may have an established business that you wish to move to the next level, or, like many people today, you may be considering the possibility of leaving the relative security of a steady job and venturing out into the world of self-employment. Perhaps your spouse or a close friend is in this position. Regardless of the situation, it is typical for someone who's made the commitment to build a business to ask him or herself, and anyone who will listen, a key question: how will I find new clients and customers? People are faced with the sobering thought of having to market their companies in order to obtain business. This stumbling block can keep an aspiring entrepreneur from realizing his or her full potential. Marketing shouldn't be holding you back. If approached properly, it will be a key tool in achieving great success. So, in my opinion, you should embrace it and not be afraid of it. So, let's talk about 11 ways to get your marketing started. Talk to other entrepreneurs. Talk to them about how they started a marketing program. You are not the first person to do this. Others have gone before you and are usually willing to share their experiences. Lessons can be learned and costly mistakes avoided, particularly if it's someone who's in a similar business to your own. Don't get overwhelmed. You acquire a basic understanding of marketing to avoid being overwhelmed and to help reduce the fear and anxiety that occur when you enter an unfamiliar area. Read books on marketing and take marketing courses. Become familiar with marketing terminology and activities. Start thinking early. Begin the thinking process early before you make any purchases or hire any marketing help. Waiting until you need to do marketing can be too late. Do as much advanced work as possible. Research your target group, your competition, the potential of your ideas, and the services you'll offer. Start the marketing process by determining who you are and what you are selling, and be very focused and very clear. But also, let's not be afraid to pivot if the marketplace changes or what you thought was a necessary product or service, in fact, isn't needed by the marketplace, or at least not yet. You need to set realistic expectations. Ask yourself if your expectations are realistic. Discuss this issue with your family or business associates to arrive at a set of expectations that they can endorse. In establishing a reasonable initial financial goal, consider a 10% increase in sales as a starting point. And remember to factor in additional costs for new marketing materials. Be prepared in case this goal takes longer to reach than you expected it to. Maybe be more aggressive. Visit existing customers and prospects, present new ideas, and be objective, honest, realistic about what you can do and who you are. Don't promise too much, as mistakes are inevitable. It's useful to make them early and with smaller potential customers. Don't take it personally if you're rejected. People may be reacting to the way you have presented your company, or they may not have a genuine need for your services. Either way, there is a valuable lesson to be learned in every interaction. Qualify leads carefully. Listen to what prospects are saying and not what you want them to say, and be very realistic about their intentions. Many promising businesses have failed in their infancy because an entrepreneur thought a positive response to his or her idea meant money in the bank. And frankly, it never does, or very, very rarely. How about developing alliances? Join up with other small businesses that complement your products or services. They could provide much needed leads and act as part of your support system. Get ongoing advice. Look for a mentor or group of advisors to provide guidance. Seek out those who are familiar with the business you're in. Their experiences can help you avoid some of the pitfalls of running your own business. Be computer literate. Review your computer equipment and software and learn to use them. You don't want to be scrambling to learn new software at the last minute when you're trying to produce a letter or proposal or send out a mailing. And boy, this really applies to AI today. Prepare marketing tools in small quantities. You prepare them, your marketing tools, understanding that you will likely need to revise them as you go. Have business cards and letterhead produced in small quantities. Do not produce homemade cards, as they can be perceived to indicate a lack of commitment to the idea on which you're attempting to base a business. You don't want to produce thousands of copies of something that's actually going to end up being thrown out because either it's misinforming, it's not on target, it's not strategically correct, your people aren't using it. Lots of reasons that it can end up in the garbage. Work hard, play hard. Have fun, and don't let the new aggressive approach consume your life. Make time for family and friends. You'll be amazed at how much more energy and clarity of thought you'll have if you maintain a balance. Tools for success are easily attainable. First, you have to recognize the need and then do something about it. There you go. Well, I hope that helps you in your beginning stages of marketing. And in fact, you could be, a business that's been around for a long time. You could be a multi-generational business, but perhaps in the past you didn't do much marketing. Or you could be a new business, who's starting to do their marketing. It doesn't really matter. You need to jump in. You need to be clear on what you're doing. You need to think about it. And the most important thing is you actually need to get started. So, this is Eric Gilboard. You've been listening to Sell Your Business for Millions, and I truly hope that we provided some real value to you in this podcast. I hope you'll listen to some of the other podcasts and help you to get to a point where, maybe you just want to grow your business. Maybe you, in fact, want to sell it, but maybe not for several years. Oftentimes, Gen X owners are looking to increase the value of the company, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years in advance. So if you fall into one of those categories, or you're boomer age and you want to sell soon, doing some marketing and doing it properly for your company, if anything, if it's not going to increase the value of your business right away, it's going to show a potential buyer of your business that you have some plans that they can inherit. You have put some thinking into the business that you can share with those new potential buyers. That's it for today. I'm Eric Gilboard, and good luck selling your business for millions.